Hello viewers, it's Super GT here. Now we're driving in the exotic GT hopper. This is pretty much as close as you'll get to driving an S-Class. But of course it's just restricted to exotic GT division cars. Now coming into the first corner is Bathurst, which is always a bad corner. And it kind of goes okay until the end of it, and then this guy's just going to show me the tyre wall. There you go mate, have a look at the tyre wall, thank you very much. So, obviously not a good start, not ideal at all. We've gone down into 12th place in the Aston Martin. The Aston Martin here, it seems to be a very solid car and most people were using it in this hopper. And well, coming through here, gonna kind of get acquainted with this Dutchman, and coming up the hill, gonna get overtaken by the Ford. It's just been an absolute disaster this first couple of corners. Now through here, I'm just going to get involved. This is what happens really when you get put to the back of the pack. F4 GT just goes for a move that simply wasn't on, and it's just going to get extremely messy. So the best thing you can do is really just get through and get away from these kinds of people, because you're just going to be losing time forever. He's just going to turn into a drift session there, and I'm going to go around the outside, use the wall as an aid to overtake, so up into the top 10. Now looking down the hill, again using the wall to overtake. Absolute beast tactic, noob tactic 101. Just overtake people using the wall. Cosmetic damage, you know, you're not going to get damaged. Just use the wall basically. Easy stuff. This is lap number 2. In 7th place, guy just rejoining in the Porsche. Easily up into 6th place. Now we have another nice tidy group of 3 people up ahead. How is this one going to develop? It's going to get very interesting as we come down the hill. So of course the hill is it's a very tricky area. And actually these guys are actually not making too much of a hash of it. Normally driving that close to each other there would be about 4,000 collisions, but actually they've managed to get around there without killing each other. So we actually test out the straight line speed of the Aston Martin here, going past the other Aston Martin quite easily. So clearly I've got a speed based tune on. Now the Porsche up ahead is just going to absolutely make an absolute mess of that. Really can't quite ponder what he was thinking there. But obviously 0 out of 10 for execution, unless that's what he wanted to do. Looking up the inside of the Ferrari, hitting the apex, it's going to be a messy pass. Make contact, it's going to be a drag race down the main straight. I'm in 4th position, just going to move across to cover off the guy behind, and then I kind of just forget to brake a little bit too late. And then we're going to get deja vu. It's a glitch in the matrix. Smash into the wall. So I'm going to be shown that wall for the 2nd time in the race. Not good at all. So down into 7th. And we're going to try and catch up once again. Now this guy up ahead, he's just going to stop on the racing line. So you know, a list of things that you shouldn't do on a racetrack. Stop on the racing line. That's top of the list. Just don't absolutely do that. So unfortunately, we've become victim of that, someone doing that. We're going to drop a bit of time, but 5th place is still on. Actually no, sorry, make that 4th as we overtake someone who's just pulling off to the side, or perhaps recovering from a crash most likely. So up into 5th, 4th place, is it on? We're behind the Audi now, coming through the tricky corners. That one just we went through there. It's awful. It is very hard to get right, and I'm not honestly one of the best people through there. Well, most people aren't the best person through there, but I really am not. I'm quite a long way off because I'm just kind of awful through that whole section. This is not one of my best tracks. Now through the final chicane, we're kind of, well, I would say we're gaining on the Audi, but it's not really developing unless he kind of crashes right now. It's not going to happen. No, it's going to be a 5th place. So the first race in the Aston Martin exotic GT hopper, it's going to be 5th, not the best result, but we can try to do something better here at Maple Valley. So the classic circuit returns, albeit about 5,000 times wider than it was. So I think the challenge of this track has diminished somewhat. It's not quite the track it was. Of course it's still Maple Valley, but I mean look how wide it is. It's just ridiculously wide. It's not quite how I envisioned it returning. But anyway, we're behind yet another Aston Martin, so it seems to be a very popular choice for this hopper, and one behind us as well. So coming through the fast kink, kind of have to turn before you can see the apex. and then you have to brake on the end of the shadow, which I don't do. I brake a little bit too late, just about managed to keep it on. This guy kind of says otherwise. No, you are going to go off, mate. So there you go, see that tyre wall. So plenty of people shepherding me wide into tyre walls, so a good experience so far. Thank you very much for that, guys. Now in this case here, I kind of choose the wrong opponent. So we've seen plenty of tyre walls, we're about to see another one. So kind of shepherding him wide, and he's not really going to give up the position. I've got the inside, I'm just going to try and shepherd him wide. He's not going to give up, to be fair to him. But then into this left-hander, he just makes a hash of it. And well, there's another tyre wall for me to see. At the end of the race, I made a stunning comeback, and I managed to actually catch up with the guy. And they're coming through the fast kink. Someone's going to crash up ahead. I'm going to decide to go right. It's 50-50, and then bang, I've just flipped the car completely. Just went the wrong way. I just couldn't quite tell where he was going to go. It was a 50-50 and I went the wrong way. So ended up flipping over and killing myself, but somehow reviving myself in time for Long Beach. So as we pull away from the line, 13th place on the grid. We're going to get disposed of already by the Porsche. Now looking behind at the start of the race, there were quite a lot of Porsches, and I think it might be the new noob car of this game. Usually the cover car is the noob car. So let's look into the first corner. There we go. Porsche's out of nowhere, and it's just turned into an absolute mess. I'm actually going to complete the whole race going backwards here, somehow getting pushed down the circuit, down in 16th. So obviously a disastrous start. Not good at all. We try to reclaim as many as we can, of course. Now this Aston Martin going to come flying across. Nice rejoin there, mate. And then he's going to settle into 16th place. Another Aston Martin coming way up the inside. Oh, it's so messy. It really is not good at all. Down in 17th. Super GT, 17th out of 8, or 16th now out of 18. That is really not good at all. So a nice bump pass into the left-hander. And then we have another 90-degree right-hander this time. Is a move possible through here? Someone was off there, so we gained a position. So yes, I've moved into the top 15. Great stuff. Now, a medium length straight as we come down towards the final sector. Aston Martin on the inside. Bit of contact with the Lambo. The Lambo clearly not a fan of that. Just going to punt him wide. Look at that. Awful overtake. But that's going to help me up into 13th place. Through the hairpin. 2 bits of contact. They're both helping me through there. Thank you very much for that. Now, this is the roundabout. It's getting very close. As you can see, looking up the inside of the one Lamborghini, make contact with the Aston. It's so messy. It really is Lionel Messi right now. And then up the inside of the other Aston Martin, we had a bit of ding-dong battle at Maple Valley, but now I'm through into 11th place. Looking for the 300 board. There it is. Perhaps a little bit late, or I could have just turned in a little bit earlier. But not a perfect turn by any means through there. Big pack up ahead. Couple of cars, 3 cars. That's always good to see. I mean, when I'm recording these races, I'm kind of just, in a way, I'm hoping that something silly will happen. I'm not trying to make it happen, but I mean, I really don't have to wait long before someone just kills me, kills someone else, flips over, or something stupid happens. It's just the way that Forza is. So often, content creation isn't too hard because people will just do stupid shit all the time. Coming through here, bit of a concertina effect, but we'll back off here and kind of resume into our original positions before the hairpin. So good stuff there actually. Good driving. Into the first turn. Almost gets sideswiped from behind. Now this is going to be Ruthless Move of the Year award. Just going to absolutely go for it. I am coming through. There's nothing you can do. So 2 wheels over the roundabout onto the flowers. So the Long Beach caretaker with a bit of work to do. Getting those flowers back up to scratch. Now up into the top 10. Looking into the final turn. This is lap number 3 of 5. So a bit of contact through there. The Porsche gets wiped out from behind by the Aston Martin. Shocking move, but it helps me gain another position. So you can see there, as I said, it's not too long before someone will get killed. Now coming through the final turn, last lap, we're looking for the outside line. Then the 4GT is just going to go with a cheeky little move up the inside. And to be fair, that was a very good move. I could have just blocked the inside, but I was looking for a good exit compared to the Lambo. It didn't quite happen. So 9th, not a great result. Really not a great result at all. But perhaps this one can be slightly better. This is VIR, and it's a track that I really do like. And the other Aston Martin there, just going very deep on the brakes. AMS McQueen in the 4GT. Looking for the lead. It's not quite going to happen for him though, as the Aston Martin just about reclaims the position. I'm going to look for the move now, and we make a bit of contact. It's not going to develop there. Into the next corner, maybe. I look up the inside, just have to back out. McQueen's going to slot in ahead, so going to have to settle for third place, although not for long, because McQueen there going to make a big mistake and back up into second. Now this isn't the full version of VIR. We're going to turn sharp right here up a very tricky, difficult right-hander. It's quite a weird one to get right. The exit does open up, and this section, I actually quite like this one. So VIR has so many configurations, it's actually quite difficult sometimes remembering all of them and all of the corners on all of them. So at least I have a good guide here, because the guy ahead is actually fairly fast, so I can kind of just follow his lines for now, and then kind of get myself back into the swing of things, because I do know this circuit. I've driven it a fair amount of times. Now through the final corner, see the car sliding gradually out to the outside, under control very nicely. Along the main straight, have we got a speed advantage? I think we have, just about. So the guy ahead should be gaining, but he wasn't gaining very much. So coming out of corners, the car ahead will get on the accelerator first, so he should always be gaining. But he wasn't gaining by a very big amount at all. So I think overall I would have been going quicker. Now that second corner, I am pretty sure they've reprofiled it since Forza 6, because I always get caught out. Always get caught out on that corner. And I've done it once again, just gone way too quick through there and just driven wide. And I'm going to concede second place, now down to third, and it's just going to be a miserably big gap. It's going to be really tricky to have any good result or better result from here. But this is the final lap. You never know what's going to happen in Forza. Well, in some cases you do. The leader's going to get wiped out by a back marker. So sometimes it's unpredictable, but sometimes it's unpredictably predictable. I can predict that a back marker will kill the leader. I mean, it kind of just happens a lot. It shouldn't happen, but it does. And it has happened here. So up into second, McQueen up ahead. Is there a chance that I can perhaps gain the lead? The F4 GT does seem to be a very well-rooted car to the ground, so he does have a slight advantage through the corners, although I'd have one on the straight. So last couple of corners remaining of this race, can we perhaps just gain that position? I mean, the gap's huge there. As we come through the final turn, it's going to be a tall order. It's not going to happen, because he's going to come through to finish the race. But as we come through here, he wants the glory of the rollover. He's going to go for the spin. And there he goes, flying over, and I'm just going to nick the win on the line there. So that was like the most undeserved victory of all time, and we all know what that calls for. And there it was, the shrug of shame for finishing in second place. But there we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, there we go, the Aston Martin in the exotic GT hopper. Thank you for watching as always, guys. Subscribe for more, hit the like button, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye.
Listen.